Now, women have been pushing for a more inclusive role in leadership and governance. There was so much hope that the ongoing constitution review would change the narrative for the benefit of the women folk in the country, but this hope was dashed when the National Assembly failed to pass adjusted bills to accommodate more women in critical positions. Displeased by this development, Nigerian women from different groups took their protest to the National Assembly and will continue to occupy the National Assembly. This is coming a few days to the International Women's Day, with women demanding equal rights in the workplace and society. There is more in this report.
Lawmakers on Tuesday voted against a bill seeking to provide special seats for women in the national and state houses of assembly. 209 members rejected it, while 81 voted in its favor. Also rejected was a bill seeking to provide a reserve quota for women on appointments. Women representing different groups have besieged the National Assembly, demanding for a reconsideration on the gender bill.
Women fighting for our rights.
The proposed gender bill in the constitution alteration bills that were all rejected, they say, are bills targeted at addressing the current gender imbalance across the legislative arm of government across the country, while reducing the underrepresentation of women in political office.
We want the leadership of the House to come out here to explain to women what happened yesterday, and to assure us that they would be able to redirect, the situation.
A constitutional review can be called up at any time. It's either they come back, anything is human beings that wrote it, it's not set in stone. It's still human beings that can change it. If we didn't know whether it would be changed, we won't be here. So you either do it by choice or you do it by force.
They say the 9th National Assembly, by their actions, have taken women backwards, and their actions undermine the importance and relevance of women's contribution to the governance of Nigeria, including the key role women play in bringing victory to political parties in elections at all levels across the country.
The only way they can remedy what they did yesterday is to pass that bill, because we are no longer going to accept second-class citizenship in Nigeria. They are not better than us. Some of them carried ballot boxes to get there. That is the reason now I'm thanking Mr. President for him to have signed the Electoral Act. It means now that no more ballot boxing.
Calls were placed one after another to different lawmakers inquiring how they voted.
From here, I'm going to go to the leadership and I will pass your message on to the Senate President.
They say they will continue to occupy the National Assembly until it represents these bills as a matter of urgency and ensure that they are passed.
And let's talk this through by speaking with a broadcast journalist, who's joining me in the studio. Thank you so much for being with us in the studio this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited that we want to look at these issues having to do with Nigerian women.
Absolutely. And before the last report was going on, you were actually saying certain things and all of that. You've been expressing your opinion and your grievances over this. So what has been your reading since the defeating of some of these bills in the National Assembly?
I don't want to call it a defeat. You heard the young lady there who said, you either do this or do this by force. No, it cannot be done by force. Something has to give. People will have to agree to say, look, we have come of age when Nigerian women need to begin to take leadership positions. And when I talk about leadership positions, I'm not just talking about in the private sector. You look at the banks today, you have women. This is one time in our era where you have more women at the helm of affairs in the banking sector. But let's talk about politics. If you look at it, I'm not trying to boast. Half of the people or the population, you will see it that they are women. So why are we having things very difficult when we talk about, passing a bill that will make life better for Nigerians? Come on, think about it. Everyone came through a woman. And there's this thing that if you need to get something done, give it to a woman. What are the women asking for? We need more representation. Is that too much to ask? I'm surprised that 209, people said no to these bills. And what does that tell you? It is probably looking like it's a male-dominated environment, and they are saying, no, we are not going to give this to them. If we do this, it means that we're relinquishing. It's not about relinquishing your position as the man. It's about how to move Nigeria forward.
Well, I could hear you say something like what we were talking before the show started. You mentioned something as not gender equality, that you have some form of reservation for that particular expression.
Yes,
so
which is why maybe that's why some men are feeling somehow about it when they hear the words gender equality. It is, yeah, some might ask for my head on a platter if I say the word equality should be taken out. It is equity. The UN has asked for the rights, you know, representation and protection as it is. Everyone should be should get some kind of equity. When men hear this word equality, it's like you want to be equal to the man. For those who look at it religious-wise, and I'm sure you would understand with me that that could be one of the things that went against some of these bills. You know what the makeup of the National Assembly. Right. You have more people from the north. Right. And you know what it is with women in that part of the world. I was opportune to attend a conference. I think the lawyers had a very huge conference sometime years ago in Lagos, and the issue of restructuring came to the fore. One of the celebrated lawyers, I don't want to mention his name, he came up and said, look, what restructuring is to the southerner is different from what it is to the northerner. When they look at it, they're looking at it like you want to decapitate Nigeria and cut them off as it is. So it's the same thing with this issue of gender equality. They're looking at it to say, oh, you want to be equal to us, where we come from or what we profess. The women just have to be behind. You can be seen, but you cannot be heard. But I think we should move away from there. Even countries that are predominantly, you know, Muslim as it is, you have women who are coming up to take leadership positions, and I think they should take a look at those bills again.
Well, let us have a very quick look at some of these bills that didn't sail through. Denying citizenship to a foreign-born husband of a Nigerian woman, while it allows Nigerian men's foreign-born wives to be awarded automatic citizenship. That's not fair, you think?
I think that's discriminatory. That's the truth. If someone marries someone from outside Nigeria, and the person comes and says, look, I love your country, I want to be recognized, I need the citizenship, I don't see anything wrong in that. If you can give it to the man, why can't you let the woman do the same? So a lot of what it is that's going on will be seen, perceived as discriminatory, and I think they should take a look at it again.
We've always been talking about the 35% affirmative action, and
that's a long time. We've been talking about this.
But the womenfolk managed to get 20% of it, you know, ministerial commissionership and all that, and that was based on the advocacy of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, despite the fact that we had the First Lady at the National Assembly and also the wife of the wife of the Vice President. So this is just 20%. Is that enough, or is that something that you should at least manage? It's
not enough, but I'm surprised to hear that people are mentioning that because the Vice President's wife was there, then it should kind of shape the decisions that they took there. I don't think so. Do you understand? She probably just went there to see what was going on. So I think we should leave that out. Let's face the issues as it is. What they have already is not enough. 35% is not even enough. In some other countries, even in this Africa, you find that it's about 50%. It's 50-50. Look, we're talking about people with brains, for crying out loud. It's not about your genetic makeup, whether you're a man or a woman. If there are women who are capable of doing these things, what's stopping you from doing that? But you still have people say to you, you cannot do this because you're a woman. You cannot do this because you're a woman. It doesn't make sense. We go to the same school. We spend the same number of years in school. There are women in engineering and they're doing so well. There are women mechanics, they're doing so well. And when you look at it, when you talk about politics, listen to the woman talk. She doesn't want, she's so afraid to fail, and that's why she will do everything that she can to see that she gets it right. So I'm thinking the 35% is not even enough. I can remember when they started to talk about this 35% affirmative action. We need to step up the game. That's the truth. But I think this is a start with what the women did yesterday. They stood there to say, look, you must rescind this decision. Take a look at it again, and let's move forward with this. And I'm saying they need to sit together, talk to the men who are saying, no, this cannot be. They need to see the positives by letting women, like I won't agree when you say let women. I say to women also, you need to get out there and get it. That's why I'm happy. I saw the photograph or saw the posters of our senior colleague, our big sis in the profession, that's Modele Sharafa Yusuf, who says, look, I'm throwing my hat in the ring now. It may not be at the end of the day, but she has gone a step further to say, I can do this. And I'm just hoping that the women won't begin to tear her down, because when you look at it...
Exactly, because I was going to go there. During elections, you get to see women, many women voting for these, menfolk, and then they don't vote for their own, gender. So is this not a form of defeat in advocating some of these, bills that you really want to... It's
not a defeat. It's the men that also try to box them in a corner. How? That's the truth. The men have a way of doing these things. They box you in the corner. They brainwash some of those women who allow themselves to be brainwashed. But I think women need to understand now that it is something, the line is drawn already, where they're saying, no, we cannot let the woman rise beyond this level. And it shouldn't be. So I think that women need to begin to rally around themselves. See, it should go beyond talking on social media. Look at what it is that happened yesterday where the women had to gather. Now let them move beyond that. 2023 is already knocking on our doors. It should go beyond you dressing up, tying the beautiful gele, and going to clap behind the men. Find the women and, encourage them. Devote your time. Put in your money. The men have godfathers. Why is it that the women don't have godmothers? Where are the rich women? Where are you putting your money? They always go to put their monies where the men are, and it shouldn't be like that. So I think the time is now. The Nigerian woman has actually woken up a long time ago, but I think something is about to give, and until that thing gives, we may just be going around in circles.
I think it's just for us to now find out exactly what is about to give, because I'm not sure whether you really subscribe to the argument, what they say in politics. Women, political meetings are usually held in the midnight.
So
women are not expected to be out at that time.
No, who doesn't expect a woman to be out at that time? If we run an economy if we run a 24-hour economy, it's going to be like, it's just night and day. It's just that sometimes it's bright, the other time it's dark. So if there is security, why wouldn't a woman go out for meetings? I wouldn't say change the time of your meetings and all of that. As I say to women, you want to contest, you want to get in the ring, you've got to jump in the mud like the men. Get in there, fight for a shirt, and go in there and prove yourself. So I wouldn't say because they will never move their meetings to the morning time. It's always at night. The way the men go to have their meetings, go there. And people need to begin to look away from the fact that every woman who goes into politics is a prostitute. It doesn't have to be like that. There are women who still have their heads on their shoulders. They go there, transact the business, and they go back home. There are men who are supporting their wives now. You could take your wife to these meetings. So let's move away from all those obstacles that we put in the way for the woman because she decides to say, look, I want to give myself for service.
Taking out some of these obstacles, I really don't know how we are likely going to do this or get this done, because one of our analysts on this particular topic said something, that men were made from the dust, women made from men. So
meaning?
Meaning what you think.
No, meaning that God saw that what he made before can be done better. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, I take the dust. I take the dust. Right. I mold a man. I look at him. He's going to be lonely and probably not complete without the woman. So let me make something perfect. And that's how he took a rib and, created and made the woman. She's a more perfect human being. She multitasks. There are so many things that a woman can do that the man cannot do. I'm sure you understand that.
And menfolk will also say so many things a man can do that a woman cannot do.
No, it's a practical thing. It's simple. It's a woman that is taking care of you and like 4, 5 or 10 children that you have. She's the nurse. She's the house help. She's the driver. She does everything. How many men can actually multitask? For the men who are watching me today, ask yourself the question, are you able to do what it is that a woman is doing? And for those who look at a housewife and say, all she does is sit at home, take care of the children, do school runs, Have you seen a man do school runs? It is a big job because this woman is there, she washes, cleans, does everything, yet you expect her at night also, she's got some job to do at night. So when you look at it, the woman is built for some of these things.
Philosophically, because, talking about the role of a woman in the home, ensuring that things are, done well, she's just like the pillar of the home, while the man is out, ensuring
getting the bread.
So who is going to do all of these things? That is one of the reasons why it's been difficult, don't you think?
No, it's not difficult. Things will happen. There are people who get to do these things.
So
the women will find a way around it.
It doesn't mean there will have to be a switching of roles here.
What's bad in that? There are men who are taking up paternity leave now to stay at home and take care of the home while the woman goes. It happens in a lot of homes today. You switch roles, do that. If the woman has more hand and she's capable of doing this, just encourage her.
I think there is an example set forth by the former German Chancellor Angela
Merkel.
She said she didn't have a maid. She did the dishes, she did the cooking, and she was running the government, and she was one of the best that we ever have.
Yes, and someone asked her, she says, look, all I do is either I'm washing, I put the clothes to the washing machine, my husband brings it out, he dries them. There was something like division of labor. Do this and I'll do that. So I think it's about understanding. But when you look at it back here, home in Nigeria, even before a woman is born, when the mother is still pregnant and they find out it's a girl, that's where the obstacle starts. The man, oh, it's a girl you're having. She comes, they begin to discriminate against her and all of that. So there are so many obstacles in that way for a woman as she goes through, trying to achieve her dreams and, attain her goals. So I'm saying that with these bills or this bill that I would say has been thrown out, they need to take a look at it again. The Nigerian woman has come of, has come of age. She has so much to give. Have you seen how many Nigerian women professors that we have? Have you seen the kind of cerebral women that we have? And I'm happy that many of them are going into politics now. I met a young lady who's talking so well. She's trying to get into local politics as it is, but people are saying to her, you're enlightened, you've gone to school, you've got 2 masters. Why are you coming to run this local politics with us? It shouldn't be like that. I think we need to begin to change the narrative, and the time is now.
I'm not sure how worried you are when it comes to the fact that, assuming some of these bills that were sent to the proposed on the floor of the National Assembly sail through, they will have to travel the 36 states of the various houses of assembly.
What's the big deal about that? The way the men fly about in their private jets, the women will do the same.
No, I'm talking about the bill being transmitted to all of the 36 states, for ratification, for approval or voting and all that. It might still get defeated.
It will in some places, if we're talking about the bill. But also someone said to me, look, these women, would they have to, for those who want to run for offices, if they have to move around? I said, look, the way the men move around, they will move around. But let's talk about the bill. Yes, it will get to some place. They will say to you, this is a no-no because of religion, because of culture. But I don't want us to begin to see the impediment before we even take the action. Let it get there first. That's the truth. I've had the opportunity of going around the country, during elections. There are parts of the country where I went to. You come to the campaign grounds, all you see are men, and I'm wondering, where are the women? And they say to us, this is how we do it here. And I'm like, how are you going to be making decisions for the women if they are not right there at the table? So let's wait for when it is that we get to that level. When we get to that bridge, we will definitely cross the river. Right. Whatever it is, the time is now for us to set things right when we talk about Nigeria.
Well, we'll continue to see how this would develop and the strategies the women will be doing, will be, putting on the table to ensure that these bills actually, sail through at the end of the day. Thank you very kindly for speaking with us. Broadcast journalist Ife Yebule, thank you so much.
Thank you for your time too. Thank you.